Hi everyone, it's Veronica Bartolini with Codebreaker Real Talk, and I'm so excited today because I have Chad Cooper back on, and we're going to be talking about a specific person that not only Rocko and myself, but other people in the community have tried to help. Here we go. Go ahead, Chad.
Hi everyone, I'm Chad. And yes, I asked Veronica if I could come online and discuss a few things, Rocco. Rocco personally messaged me and asked me to ask Veronica not to have anybody on her show bashing him. And we're going to honor that. So I'm getting on here myself and I'll speak to it directly. I received a phone call from him this morning that I didn't answer on Instagram because I wasn't ready to speak to him just yet. I'm going to do it on video. And there's reasons for that. I want to be heard. I don't want to be interrupted unless Veronica has questions. I would just say, you can interrupt me, Veronica, but I don't want to be interrupted and argued with on every sentence. And that's what that conversation would look like, I have a feeling. I was supposed to be doing his not autobiography, but a documentary on his foster care years. We both know the guy's had a really rough background. You and I have both stood up for him. And I'm just going to introduce the last incident with you and Rocco was after 2 years of avoiding him, correct? Not avoiding him, but just blocking him from your life because how abusive he can be or what his temperament is. And as the community is discovering, especially towards women and apparently sometimes towards kids, because he's got five minors now that he's assaulted online or threatened. And I've never known in that 2 years that Veronica was not speaking to you, Rocco. I'm talking to Rocco directly. And I also want to address the Little family and Creek Squad. This is a message for the three of us. And I'll introduce myself a little more here in just a moment. But I've never heard Veronica speak illy of, they're hitting my throat, of Rocco in those 2 years. He did some mean things. He said some mean things, as you can imagine. And she had a higher understanding of Rocco because he does have a history that we can't verify it, but I will say that there is something to this guy in his past as he's talking about. The reason I'm putting this on here is because he's got an attitude problem. He's a narcissist or has narcissistic tendencies, and I'll list those out for you. We've all seen them. We've seen him display all of these in the last week in all his videos, and onward we'll continue to see that because you don't ever change from that behavior, or I'd like to encourage him to at least work on it. But okay, now Veronica and Rocco came back together because there's another connection they had in our community, and that's the Super Soldier program. I've never called myself a super soldier. I don't know what people are associating with, but yes, I have memories, and yes, there's something that happened behind the scenes in my life that I'm trying to piece together. And Rocco seems to also share that history. Veronica shares that history, and so does this other gentleman, Jesse. And so because Jesse and Veronica have a connection, Rocco got back in on Veronica's show. And like usual, he did 3 recordings with her. And then Veronica had a surgery and she had, may I say? Yeah, you had some disc fuse. So, it was like not a minor surgery. And Rocco wanted to do a show with Veronica on this foster care. And she said, yes, she would do it. And so Rocco got excited and immediately booked like 30 people, hopped on his phone, started getting everything together. We're going to do this every week, started blowing up Veronica's phone, getting everything going. And she's had to say, we're going to do this in about a month because I need more healing, so we'll do it, but we'll do it in a month. And he flipped out on her. And I believe he said some really nasty things about you, or to you, I would imagine, because I heard them too. I had contacted Rocko at the same time because I was listening to Veronica's interview with him, and I'm like, okay, this guy is talking about this connection I have to my mysterious past, that, you know, that thing that happens behind the scenes, that affects us here in the 3D as well, you know, that we're trying to piece together. He was saying things that resonated with me that I wasn't hearing from the others, you know, that sounded authentic. So I reached out, contacted Rocko, said, hey, you know, I want to talk with you. And then he wanted me to do the documentary. So then Veronica's and his relationship split up then, and his and I's began. So I got an earful of, she's a fucking cunt bitch. I hope she's Veronica Sledolini. Veronica Sledolini. And I'm like, you know, Rocko, she's never said anything bad about you in the 2 years that I've known her. Just so you know that. Just so you know that. And he would still go at her. And I'm like, you know, Rocko, Veronica has an issue with everybody in this community, the SSP community, that you also have an issue with. And so he was starting to simmer down a little bit, but on your videos, he also has a little bit of paranoid disillusion, right, going on. And he kept saying, she's looking up to the left. I know she's got cue cards. I know she's got people there, and she's got like, and she's reading off of cue cards, and they're just trying to get information out of me and hone in on, you know, he thought she was running an operation behind the scenes and that she was some sort of agent, secretly CIA or something like that. I said, I can assure you, Rocko, I've been to Veronica's house. She doesn't have any of that going on. You know, she's sitting in her living room in front of her device, and it's as simple as that. You know, there's no high-tech information, and I'm reporting you and all that kind of stuff. So I busted, you know, the paranoia and all the things he was trying to do slander. But I had to listen to your name, Sledolini, as instead of Bartolini. Bartolini, did I say it right? I'm okay. I just want to make sure. And that was really rude of him to do. That's his general attack with women, because there's also a lady in this group called Brandy B. And he said he was going to smack this bitch in her face so fucking hard. He said, I just want to grab you by the back of your head, by your hair, and shove your face into the water until you stop breathing, bitch, and leave you dead on the shore. And so these are things he says to women. This is hard for the public to hear, Rocko. I'm somebody who wants to do your documentary on your foster care, and you're talking about women this way. You also attack 13-year-old and a 15-year-old, and I believe your story takes place as a 13-year-old when you entered the foster care system and your father was murdered in front of you. You know, all due respect. And at 15 when you got out. How can I possibly do a documentary with somebody who is now attacking 13-year-olds and 15-year-olds online? You don't tell a 15-year-old you wish his daddy would have come on the pillow and fed it to the fucking dog, you piece of shit. Not you, piece of shit, but you called the 15-year-old a piece of shit, correct? I understand you've apologized for all of this, but it's kind of hard to walk into someone's party, take a shit on their floor, and then say, oh, I'm sorry, and expect nobody to notice the pile of shit still sitting there. You know, you were supposed to.
That's what he does, is he lifts you up because he wants to be on your show. I gave him 3 shows. I never once talked bad about him. The only thing I told Susan and Frank and all the others was I don't want him on my show because of the things that I've heard of him. And then he brings you down, like if you're the piece of crap. So go ahead. Sorry about the noise.
What I'm calling that, though, because I want to comment on the narcissistic behavior here, I'm not calling him names. It's pretty clear. It's a narcissistic behavior, you know, and that's special me. That's me, and another dose of me. And I'm getting distracted, excuse me. What he does is he comes in, and I call it like order out of chaos, right? Or chaos and order. So he'll come in shining, and then he'll create some sort of chaos and then try to make order out of it so that he's the top dog. But Rocko, the thing is, and I hear you speaking, there's this grandiosity about you, grandiosity. There's a list here of behaviors that I've seen from you. You know, a lack of empathy, an inability to handle criticism, highly suggestible to flattery, and highly you have an inability to handle any sort of criticism. You have this pretentious behavior, and that's what I'm talking about. You want to be the top dog, but you don't. I get that you have that past, and we all are aware of our past. I'm aware of my alters to a degree, but that doesn't make me a great person. They're the ones behind the scene, and whatever realm they're in or world they're in, or whatever it is, they've gone through their own stories. I just get little visions of it. That's not me. It's part of me, but it's not this experience that's made me who I am here in the 3D. I'm working hard to make a name for myself with everything in the world working against me. I don't just get to sit at home, not work, be on social media all the time, and expect to grow and become this person that I want to be. Life is throwing everything it can at me, and I'm throwing everything of myself at it until everything clears and my way is, I'm setting sail. You're living in your head, and you've already talked about this, so I don't want to drill this in. You're aware of it, and I'm glad you're aware of that. That's a large part of what you do, and that's where the disillusion kind of comes in. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience with you that week, if that's okay. I want to mention, because I was going to do the documentary. I'm a nobody. I don't want to say I'm a nobody, but I'm at the bottom of the barrel because my light shines so bright. I'm aware of that. Veronica's light shines bright. There's just certain people on this planet that we can feel it. We have creativity running through us. I got songs coming in my head. I mean, look at what you should see what Veronica creates. She's got an explosion of creativity coming out of her. I like to write. I don't play music. I don't sing. I can't do anything, but the songs and the melodies and everything comes to me. And I got like 30 plus of those things. And then I got 6 instrumentals on top of that, that I don't even know how to play instruments, but you hand me something and I hear the note and I know the next note that's supposed to come, and I can continue and do that sort of thing. Okay. So I was asked to do the documentary, and I'm like, okay, I've taken photography classes. I got an idea, and it started coming to me. I could see the whole thing in my head. I'll go ahead and say it. I work as a fry guy. That's what life did to me. I went from working as the number one for the number ones in the country to, after COVID, being in some, I mean, I get paid less than a teenager. And part of that's depression, you got to work through and stuff, because life is, and as a creative person, we got a lot of empathy and stuff like that. And we can feel what's going around. But what I'm getting to is that it took me a year to earn this week vacation.
Right.
And the whole time I'm talking to Rocko on the phone, he's calling me every single day, every morning, every night, all throughout the day. I don't mind it, but I'm at work and I'm sitting here. I mean, I'm the armpit of the freaking store. I mean, the universe pinned me in the exact antithesis of what I am, and it was to hurt me to do that. But I'm going to persevere, and I'll break free from it eventually. But it takes a lot of work for me to earn $1,000 to come take a trip and to take my 1 week off out of the year to come do your documentary. I paid for the plane ticket. I thought of all the questions. I planned out the whole documentary, each scene. He reached out and he had some rappers, Just Trey, and everybody was going to let us use the music. And I was excited about that because I said, I want to sit in the car, just like jam into something at some point. I said, foster care is a heavy topic. We're going to be getting into some deep things. We don't need comedic relief, but we need some sort of upbeat energy in there to just break up just can't be down. And so he got that arranged, so he contributed some, he networked and everything. And it was going to be up to him to network after. All I could do was edit, film and edit, and put the thing together, think of all the questions, do all the work that way, pay for my ticket, fly all the way over there. And then I get there and I find out my credit card, which is Chime online, is not accepted there in that state as to rent cars because they consider it a credit builder or prepaid. And I was like, okay, well, I have all the money on my card that I need for the car for the week. So the money's there, you know, you can just take it and then I'll pay for the insurance. So if you're worried about me stealing it, you know, you're still covered. And they still won't rent you the car. You know, there's one place that would for a $500 deposit and they had no cars. And so here I am 2,000 miles away from my home in Missouri because I live in California. And I got suitcases on me. I've been up all night, been up now 20 something hours because I couldn't sleep that night. I had to pack and then I had to get up at 2 in the morning to drive to my father's house so we could leave at 2:30 in the morning so I could get there an hour early before my flight, catch my flight, and then fly all the way there. And I'm a 50-year-old man. So I have a lot of energy, but not as much as I used to. And so I've been up now 24 hours. I got suitcases on me. I'm in a strange city.
On the
You what?
like what? How many hours and what the heck? You flew all the way over there. And I just wanted to say, even with you working, you know, and trying to make ends meet, you even sent me vitamins that I needed last year. And I'm so grateful for that.
I have those other things to send you. And now I have to admit, I got to find them because I don't know where I put them. And I've been looking around because I'm like, if I just have them on me, I'll just remember to mail it. But it's been months. And so I'm going to just have to do it and then say, by the way, it's in the mail. I'm just stop saying I'm going to send it because I keep eating crow for that. So anyways, when I got there, no car rentals. And so I said, okay, I rented one online. I said, there's got to be a way to rent one with a debit card. Then so I researched it. There was a website and it said, you can do that. And here you go. And I rented it and I got it paid for and got the insurance paid for and called an Uber and paid $55 to go 30 miles into his city, or it took about a half an hour to get to this car place. And I get there and they're pulling it up and then they're telling me, oh, you got to deposit $500. Oh, we don't rent a chime. We don't, you know, and everything that I had to go. I said, I just went through this. And this is the reason I came here is I researched this online. And now keep in mind, when I'm researching something online, I have to now have my backpacks, have to pull my iPad out, I have to turn my 5G on. I have to sit there and figure out, like, connect to I have to either turn on my 5G or I have to connect to the airport Wi-Fi. Then I have to join all these sites using credit card numbers and everything in a public place. And it's like, you know, and I finally get myself to this car place and find out I can't rent a car. So now it's nearing nighttime and I'm in a neighborhood with a marijuana store across the street and I'm seeing all sorts of people coming in and, you know, who cares? But I'm just saying I'm in the neighborhood that's like a little shady and a car rental place and what else is going on. And I'm like seeing people look at me too. And because I got bags and,
you're a white boy with blue eyes and you're real tall.
exactly. I'm not going to say that I was in the neighborhood. You know, I've been frontline before. I was on Flatbush and Bed-Stuy and all those places in New York before they are what they are now. But I mean, I was in the neighborhood, so I was just fine. But I didn't go carrying Gap bags through Bed-Stuy and Flatbush, you know, on my way home, like from Pottery Barn or whatever. I knew better. I kind of blended in, even though I was that guy that would cuss people out on the streets and stuff. I didn't have the fear. I knew I was smart about it, you know. And the same with this situation. I'm like, I got suitcases. These are people that, you know, I'm looking around going, somebody's going to pull up here in a second. So I need to get off these streets. And the whole time I'm going through this and doing this, he's not helping me out. He's not doing anything. He's just excited because Just Trey is sending all this merchandise and he's getting it in the mail. So he's like, yo, I'm sitting here at the car place and he sends me a text. Just Trey just sent me a CD. It's in the mail. I'm going to go pick it up and get it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm 2,000 miles away. I don't have anything to do. It's nighttime. I'm like, we can't do any of this documentary that I had planned because we were supposed to go on location. And so I'm sitting here thinking, how are we doing this documentary? I can't get cars. I don't know where I'm going to sleep tonight. Like, you should just say, you just come over to my place, just take your bags off, relax, let's get your blood sugar evened out because you probably haven't eaten anything in you haven't slept overnight, you've just been traveling, you just went on an airplane, that's highly stressful to the body.
He was inconsiderate,
Lack of empathy.
but he would blow up my phone every day. Nico, hold on. He would blow up my phone every day. He wanted to talk. So he's very inconsiderate. I mean, yeah, he could have
The
gone.
little family was talking about that too. They said, you know, this motherfucker was like sending 70 texts in like 20 minutes. And then there's Rebel 45 said it, little Payday said it. He did it to somebody else too, because little Payday went, I'll tell you what happened. But you know, he said, oh, this is that motherfucker that sends me all those texts, you know, and he says, I finally had to block them because it was just ping, 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 ping. You know, he did the same thing to me a little bit too on certain things. So yeah, he has that habit, and it's a lack of empathy. That's another narcissistic trait. And when I'm 2,000 miles away and I just, you know, I just went through everything I just went through, the last thing I want to hear is that you're just thinking about your CDs and your merchandise coming in from Just Trey. It's like, I'm really excited for you, you know, and I'd love to like focus on that when I get there. But I had to finally tell him, like, I'm not having any luck. I can't rent any cars. I'm like, I'm not sure what to do. I may have to turn around here and go back to the airport and buy myself a ticket back. And when I sent him that text, he flipped out. He says, now, Veronica, I think I've said this to you before. I don't know why. I usually let people, my fighting word is you people. That's my trigger. I've learned it and I'm aware of it. So it's harder to trigger me with it if you're doing it on purpose. But you people is one of my triggers. And he said, you people on social media. When he goes, I don't know if you noticed this, but when he's cussing other people out, he's talking about himself. He's got that one finger pointing forward and the three pointing back. And everybody, the Little Me family and Creekside, they're all listening to this guy talk about himself at them, calling them everything. You know, I'm never on social media. Ask Veronica. You know, she sends me messages and I'm looking and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like 30 messages here. And it's on this Instagram and not the other Instagram, or, you know, it's just different things. I usually heart her messages. And I'm like, she's been on Facebook, right? I'm never on Facebook. You people on social media, this man lives in his apartment on social media. He's talking about himself. And he's calling me you people on social media now. And now I'm 2,000 miles away and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I got to make a decision here. I can't think straight. I can't even hardly hop online because I'm having to either connect to my 5G or connect to somebody's Wi-Fi and go through all the passwords. And everything I type in, it's not pulling up. It's pulling up all these advertisements, and I'm starting to get like heart rate going, anxiety and everything, you know, not handling it well. So I said, fine. I called Uber and I started heading back to the airport after he said, you people. Those are my fighting words. So I was heading back to the airport. I had to spend an extra $300 on that ticket to get back, you know, and there's other expenses that were involved on this trip. So I missed out on $1,000, and that's fine. It is what it is. After I got back, we had we discussed it, and he says, you should have just came here. And I'm like, yep, that's what I kind of thought about. But after I was already in the taxi heading back, and I had a moment to just relax and just allow my blood pressure to go down a little bit and my anxiety, because you do start to panic a little bit. I don't panic. I don't have fear, but I'm like, I got a suitcase. I'm in a bad neighborhood. I'm in a city I don't know, and it's getting ready to get dark. And if I have to pay for a ticket back, can I afford a hotel and a ticket? You know what I mean? It's just too many things. So I called and
you could have been assaulted there real quick, or maybe he could have hurt you, because remember, he has but I heard he has a gun, and I think, did he relapse on alcohol? What happened?
He said that, yeah, he did say that.
Or whatever.
Yeah, he said that. And that's something I'm not aware of. And that's one thing I want to address with the families too. I don't know this man to smoke crack. I want to verify the things he's saying that are truthful, because right now they're really feeling like this man's a pedophile. It may sound like I'm coming down hard on Rocko, but that's because I need them to hear that I'm fair. You know, Rocko has some issues, and we'll discuss those. Those are things I was going to talk about in the documentary, because I was not going to sensationalize his victimness of, I had this happen to me when I was 13 and 15, and it was horrible and it messed up my whole life. And now, you know, and have the story go, because when it messes up your life, you also get some personality, and you were telling me about this. You said, there's a bipolarness about him, a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type personality. I picture that little character in Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, the mayor. He's like got this face on him, and then he turns around and he's all smiley. You get those two sides with Rocko a little bit.
Not like Beetlejuice also. It's like, hey, say my name 3 times and I'll help you. And we're going to make a documentary together because you're going to help me. But damn it if you don't show up, because he's being inconsiderate and you can get mugged or whatever the F. And then he's like, I hate you, mother effer. I knew it. You were just out to get me. Like when he told me, oh, I knew it. You were just going to get information. I'm like, I already had that information. The only information that I wanted was his story so he can tell the public what bad things are happening in the with the kids in the foster homes and in the halfway homes. And I feel really bad about what happened to him, because a lot of those things happen to us
we all
too.
do.
Okay, but when he goes off on us because maybe we can't be there. Yes, I had the occipital, I had the 4 vertebrae taken out. I was in I still had my, the what do you call it, the brace, when I was still doing the second interview with him. And it's like, dude, like, yes, you want to be on the show every week, but guess what? I gotta heal too. And I don't know if I want to do this show now, because after I healed, because of all the BS he was talking, building me up first, and then, oh, I'm so sorry. The first time I found out was we had just finished our first show. Okay. And the next day, Power Lady says, hey, he's talking crap about you now. And I'm like, what? And he even tried to blow up her phone. And he even tried to say bad things about me with her, and she stopped him right there. She had to block him too. Because he once he gets somebody to help him, he's an energy vampire. Those were the words that Celeste Chaparro actually used the other day when we were, because I was going to have her on the show with you, but she has to work. So, and the other thing that I want
We
you
can
to
have a
talk
part
about
2.
too, huh?
We can have a part 2 maybe,
Yeah, we could have a part 2.
if she would like to. Yeah, and Mickey.
Yeah, if she wants, yeah. But what I was trying to say also is that we talked about this earlier before recording, is that the Homeland Security knocked on my door the next day after I did the show. And then, he's like, hey, have you noticed anything going on with anything since this guy moved downstairs below you? And I said, yeah, my internet's going off. I'm getting, sabotage on my shows. And then when I moved in here, this new place, they said I had 12 MAC addresses, that were stuck onto my how do you say, my phone, my laptop, etc. Another thing that happened is a few people sent me messages and I didn't get them until 2 or 3 days ago. So they're still trying to mess with me. But I won't let them, because I'm not going to let them rob of my joy. Sorry, there's some noise going on here. But, so as far as the Homeland Security, I knew I was being messed with. And he said he had a cousin or somebody that worked for Homeland Security, and he was trying to pat himself on the back, trying to say that maybe they sent them to me because of him. And I'm like, all right, anyway, I went off on a tangent.
Do you think he had them send Homeland Security? That's what he's insinuating. But why do you think Homeland Security visited you? Because you were talking to him? Because they're also monitoring the situation? Is that what you're thinking?
I know they're monitoring me all the time, because remember I spoke to DARPA agent, all right, back in the day, like 4 years ago. He said, yes, your laptop, your place is bugged. The other guy a year ago who was in the Army and the Navy and was working for Raytheon as a hacker, listening into all the drug deals and all the, all the whatever's going on with the mafia here and in Mexico. So it's like, yes, your house is bugged. He said, yes, your phone's, everything's bugged. And so no matter where I go, I'm being listened to.
Okay.
And I'm not scared. I just want to know, leave me the F alone. Leave me and my family alone. Leave my friends alone. We're here to do the missions that we were born here to do. And if this mission here now is to talk about Rocko, to get him the proper help, then that's what we're here for. We're not here to bash you, Rocko. We're not here to make fun of you or anything. We're here to have people like you that have been hurt, but see, you're still hurting other people. So hurt people, you need to get some help.
Okay. Now, Veronica, now my situation is I'm the lone wolf, okay? People can think whatever they want of this, but it's a stigma. I'm a sigma male. This is a very rare archetype, and I'm going to explain it right now. I am not part of the pack. It's a very different life that I lived in the rest of the world. I'm 1 in 100. Extremely rare to have a sigma male. All right. So you have your hierarchy here, and you got your alpha, you got your beta, your delta, your omega, and then you got over here the sigma male. Think of a wolf pack. You got all your pack, and they have to intermingle. I'm the lone wolf, and I've always been that. Even in school, I didn't have. I'm just not saying didn't have friends, but I didn't have any cliques that I went to. I had a friend in every clique, so I get along that way. Now, as being separate than the pack, I have to look at society, and I watch everybody. I mean, I can read everybody's psychology and behavior. I watch how people interact with each other. So when you have a pact, and that's what I kind of think of mankind as, is where we have to survive together or with some sort of technology, that we can do it independent, and we don't want that. We want to be mankind, we want to be a good, healthy population of a mixture of people that make a whole. We're all not individual as one. So when the society down here, you rape somebody in there, you beat up a wife, or you're an abuser in there, and you get kicked out, and you're now out here in my world, and you're ostracized from society. Well, welcome to my world. It's quite lonely. It is very lonely.
Well, Chad, I'm in your world now because I'm down
well,
to like 2 friends now, maybe. It's fine.
Welcome to my world, Veronica, because I love having people out here with me. And I'm very social. I'm very social. I get along with people. I'm not antisocial. I'm not a wounded beta. I'm not a wounded alpha calling itself a lone wolf. I am the legit lone wolf. It is in my hardwiring. And so now, as a lone wolf out here separated from the pack, do I take in that person that society has rejected? Because then society is going to what with me? I can no longer now go into the pack and talk to the alpha and the beta and the omega and get along with everybody and then go home to my little. I can't. And that's why I have to talk to you, Rocko. And I can't do it face to face because you're going to interrupt every sentence I said. That's the narcissistic side of you. And that's the first time I hung up on you. Remember when we were having a conversation, not you, Veronica, but Rocko, and you were mind reading me and you were trying to tell me what I was thinking. And I'm like, and nobody's in my head and nobody thinks like me. I'm a sigma. I don't think like an alpha. I don't think like a beta. And you're assuming that's what I'm thinking. Right? So I hung up on him. He called me a space cadet and see you later, space cadet, and all this other stuff. And I went and told my dad, I said, well, I guess I ain't doing the documentary because I go see my dad when I drop my pup off. He watches her. And he was like, okay, probably better off. I said, yeah, apparently. And then we reconciled, he came back and did his apology and everything. And I said, okay. And then, he knew there was a boundary with me at least, or I don't know if he understands boundaries, but there's a wall with me, Yeah. And so there was times before I'd go to talk because him and I share things in common. We got this, something happened to us and we can't figure out if it was this lifetime or another lifetime or if it's astral. We're trying to piece this together. I'm trying not to do the thing the other SSPs are and turn this into, I'm trying to figure out what really happened. Like, what is this that's going on? And it seemed like he was too. So we had that in common, but I didn't get to talk about it very much. It was his story. That's the narcissistic side of him, right? We both have something in common. You're not talking to me about mine, but I get to listen to you, and as soon as I start to talk about mine, the conversation drifts off and I might as well be talking to the wall because you're typing and doing something else. That's the way he is a little bit. So, but we still have this thing in common. So there's this brethrenness. I think we all feel it with him, like he did go through this. He is traumatized, obviously, and yeah, I heard somebody talk about there must have been acid involved or something when he was getting MK Ultra, and that's very much a part of it. The LSD and all that bullshit. Yes.
When we got MK Ultra, no, it's perfect. Thank you. what happened is they gave us LSD. They did in the military, they gave us all these other chemicals, okay, to fragment us to do their work. Okay, that's what the secret government does. All kinds of altering mood drugs, right? Okay. Alcohol is always involved when there's the gentleman's club, right? And the women, even though we're officers, we have to dress up with our heels, right? And then we can talk about this in another show, but I've talked about it many
Oh,
times.
there's books on this too that
Bite.
women have written in the military. You're
Right,
right. Yeah.
The CIA love bite, you know, the blonde hair. They criticize me because I dye my hair blonde. I've been dyeing my hair blonde since I was 17. I was born with blonde hair and then turned red. So what the fuck is your problem? You know, if you don't
Yeah.
like my shows, if you don't like because I'm blonde, get the fuck out of my show. That's what I'm saying. And it's gonna stay here because I don't edit my shit. All right, step off, bitches.
Oh, I said some bad words earlier, but they've been saying it on YouTube on the other channels, like and calling each other. And I'm like, well, if they're gonna do that and they don't even get pinged, I guess I can say it. You know, the warning to kids. I'm sorry for the language earlier, but I was, you know, repeating words somebody else said. Okay, so there's this documentary thing. That's one reason I needed to talk to him, because how can I possibly do a documentary with somebody that's bashing, that said that to it, threatened to, I'll see ya. I'm a see ya. I got, you know, I'm a see ya. That's what he said, you know, I'm going to pull up basically, you know, and this kid, you know, you can't go into, think about it, Veronica. And this is the other thing I want to talk about that he's shitting on right now. That's, how can I have you in my world out here as the lone wolf? You know, it's like, I like you. I'm a 50-year-old man. The conversation with Rocko was like a rodeo. You know, it's like being on a Bronco. But for me, the way I felt about it, I felt like I was on a wave. I felt like, you know, there's this big, huge wave and I was just surfing it, you know, and here's the surf down here that I can crash into. And here's this big wave coming at me. And I just had to like stay balanced the whole time, you know, because of his mental condition and the paranoia, the mind reading, the grandiosity, the must be admired, the lack of empathy, inflated self-importance, the paranoid disillusion, you know, thinking things are happening that aren't happening. And that's what started this whole thing off with this little family, was a misunderstanding I'll talk about. Now, you're shitting on a community called Creek Squad, and you're calling it, I don't want to get that going again, but he's calling it another name. And it's Creek Squad. So we'll go with Creek Squad right now. And it has Ryan Upchurch, and he's this self-made millionaire that's independent. Now, Veronica, you and I interviewed Tom Althouse, the writer of The Matrix, the man himself that's taking Hollywood to court and making a documentary that's going to tear down, hopefully, the FBI and the Hollywood thing that's going on, that's stealing all our scripts, stealing all our music. And that's what the industry does. So I'm nothing about that industry. And every single person in that industry, as according to Tom Althouse, has signed something and sold out into a lifestyle. So I have much respect for the independent artist. All my songs stay in my head that God gives me. I cuss him out sometimes because I'm like, why fill my head with songs if I can't sing and there's no outlet? You know, I never took music. This isn't what it just comes to me. So I hang on to those because I don't want them to steal it. I'm going to write them in my own scripts. This is my plan, okay? As an independent artist, have them in my own scripts because I already have the scripts thought out. I already have the theater thought out. I already have the land envisioned. I already have the books envisioned. That I'm going to sell in the you know, up front. I have the theater designed in my head. I have the whole concept. I have the screen. I have the AI that I'm going to need with holograms. I mean, I have everything written into this in my head, but I won't put it on paper because the industry steals our shit. Tom took his 16 scripts that he has written besides The Matrix and has buried them somewhere off premise in plastic bags with no staples so they can't be found. Yeah, you know, I did say there's remote viewers, but you know, they can find it. But yeah, so we have much respect for these independent artists, and we would like for them to look into his story and him to look into theirs, because I've sent him a link to Ren, R-E-N. He is a up and coming rap artist that is a bard. You know, he's a poet, he's a musician, and he's doing it, and he's talking about our depression and mental illness and all these things that, you know, we want to try and hide. and or heal from. He talks about these things, so I thought it was important, and he does it on a genius level. So I wanted Tom to be aware of that person, and these up and coming artists that have done it. Now Ryan Upchurch, now I was like, okay, right, Rocko was talking about him on your videos. Remember, he was talking about Creek Squad and Ryan Upchurch and how he's really into that, and then he got into the Just Trey, or maybe he was talking about the Just Trey at that point. I'm like, okay, I got to see who this Ryan Upchurch is. Let me go investigate this. He's an independent artist. Okay, I need to know who this is. How can I not know it? And then I listened to his music, and I thought, oh, this is really cool. And then another day I decided to put him on, and Silver Circles came on. And that's the song I have posted on my Facebook page right now that 3 of my members have watched. It's mostly family. I'm that sore thumb. They're like, oh, look what Chad posted, but here I'm like, this is a country dude. He's redneck like you all, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, and community, because I live in those areas, So I'm like, and he's seeing silver circles, okay? That's what he was, what I'm saying, silver circles in the sky. Okay. And he's painting pictures in his free time because he's a creative person. We know how this goes, Veronica, this Upchurch guy. He's painting pictures of UFOs. How amazing is that to have an independent artist talking about real ass shit that happens to people, on a real level. And he's sitting here bashing him, calling him a cult leader because he thinks he pays people to attack people like Rocko. Now, Rocko was on the Creek Squad side, Creek Squad side 1 week, bashing people right on the front line, man. He was going to go after Johnny. I won't even say there, but what are their names? Like, they probably don't even want, whatever. He was going to go on there and bash those people that bash Creek Squad. Okay. He was going to go after them. He was the front line. He was going to be the biggest one. Then he turns around and says, oh, you people are bashing people. Well, did you get some big philosophy overnight that, changed your mind? Because you're basically pointing your finger at them with 3 of them pointing right back at you. I don't know this community to do that. They don't harass people. And Ren just came on and came out with a video ditching King Dottie, I think his name is, because these independent rappers, for some reason, even though they're brilliant, they're genius. Listen to Ryan Upchurch. His music is he's out of this world. He's got to do comedy skits on his videos. He's just creative as heck. Listen to this guy, Ren. He's creative as heck. They all got haters. They got people that come at them all the time, and they have to protect themselves from that because they're not part of the industry. They have to have their family and their network around them to protect them from people like you, Rocko. You can't have a man on there threatening to bash people's face in and drown them in the water, women, and pull up on kids, and then say, oh, I'm sorry, and then go on lives and continue. This is why they're after you, not because Ryan Upchurch paid them, and the whole time he's doing this is disillusioned, paranoid, stuff. He's thinking the Little family and Creekside are the same thing. They're not. It's almost like saying, there's the Swifts, the Taylor Swifts over here, and he's going to go sue Madonna because because he thought they were the same group, and all the Madonnaites or whatever, those, we'll call them AI, that follow Madonna and them, I don't know why I'm grabbing these names. I just got to pick names people know, and I don't really care. But like in the main industry, it'd be like associating the 2 of them together. They're completely separate. They may be in a kinship, like the 2 families are, friendly with each other and support each other, but they don't, they're their own separate entities. So that was his mistake there. And how am I supposed to, as a person with 38 songs that are beautiful, gorgeous, some of the melodies that have come to me, I will think listening to Tori Amos in my past for that. I listened to another guy. I think the name is I'll have to think of the band. It's out of Portland, and I can't think of it. But he listened to Tori Amos, and I listened to some of his songs, and it influenced him too. He had beautiful melodies in it. It did something. It tweaked his creativity, and he was pushing out not hers but his own. And I heard him say he listened to her growing up. And so beautiful melodies in my head that are just stuck there. And I won't give it over to the industry, but I'll give it over. I'll work with independent artists. You know, these are independent artists. This is my community that I'm trying to get to know or become part of. Who knows? Maybe I'll have the theater. Maybe I'll have the screenplays, and maybe one of these 13-year-olds or 15-year-olds will be one of the actors on stage doing it. You know, I don't know, but I'm not going to hire anybody in the industry to be in my theater. It's going to be real people that don't sell out. So I'm very much an independent person, even though I'm not an artist. I don't sing or anything. I just get the downloads or whatever you call those things. It takes me months to work out a song, so it's not like I just get it dropped in my head and there it is. I have to work it out, but I have to be true to the song and I have to tune into it and feel it and get it out, and have to be around trees, usually walking or something like that. But how can I support Rocko when he's just bashed my whole community and now he's actually attacking it and saying he's calling them a cult squad. He's calling the local police in their areas and turning them in as being cult leaders, and he's joining all the community around them that's bashing them. Like Ren has that King Dottie guy. These people, you know, Ryan Upchurch's mother did some unfortunate things, and he's, you know, she wasn't a good mother to him in the later years. You know, she stole from him. You know, opened up a business to protect him called Blue something, and then Blue Note, I think, and bought a bunch of houses under it to secure his money into locations and properties, and then was selling off the properties and pocketing the money and not telling her own kid that she was doing that. So, and he's now siding with Patty to go up against Upchurch, right? There's this other company called Redneck Nation, I believe, and they're trying to get a community together of their rednecks and all the Confederate people, you know, whatever, all their good old boys and everything, and have their own little place to live. You know, they're having this fantasy in their head, and they're promoting Ryan Upchurch, and they had all their merchandise and everything. And then they were caught online. This is how tricky it is to be an independent artist. This is somebody that helped get Ryan Upchurch started and was through his whole career. They were caught online saying, we're going to scam people on his social media. They were asking for money from people, thousands of dollars on his social media, and scamming them to destroy his name so that they could get rid of their competition and be the Redneck Nation instead of the Creek Squad, right? That's how mean people are out there. Rocko is now siding with them to work against Creek Squad. They were caught on video trying to tear down an independent artist. These people are despicable. I mean, like they said, you can build your own little thing over here away from the snake den, but the snakes come crawling in. You know, they come crawling at you no matter what. And he's joining the snake den. As an independent person, how am I supposed to side with you, Rocko? What kind of conversation are we going to have next? These are the things we need to talk about, okay? You need to talk about your documentary and the fact that you just went full circle and insulted a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old when you want a story written about you, about being a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old in the foster care system. We also need to talk about the fact that I support independent artists, and you're now shitting in their yards and you hate them, and you're trying to break them down and tear them down. I won't allow that. You know, as the lone wolf out here, it ain't my business. You know, the pack will take care of themselves, the little family. Not my business to go in there and rescue them. The only thing I'll offer, Veronica, I want to do this because I did it on your show before. Remember when Penny Bradley, who this community has talked to, you know, neither you and I, you know, I have a memory of Penny Bradley. I remember her being in front of me, trying to mind break me and whatever it is that goes on behind the scenes. So eventually I got to figure that out. You know, I have my own interaction there, but as far as I know, she's not very well supported by many people because of her, you know, her own shit that she's dished out. Well, she went after Rocko with a bunch of people online, and they threatened to go to his house and kick his ass. And I hopped on Veronica's show and I said, you know what, motherfuckers, come to my house, knock on my door. I didn't know Rocko. I just didn't like the fact that people were going to go do what they were going to do to somebody in our community that has issues. We all know he's got issues, but we all also understand that he's got a past.
Yeah.
Now, so I'm going to say this to Rocko because he said he's getting his cousins. He's got alter egos. He's going to do Wicca. I will be the front line in front of those families because they're independent artists. Please do me a favor and send your motherfucking uncles to my door. Have your mommy call and have them come to my motherfucking door. Have Danny come visit my altar. Leave them alone. I'll take that because I offered it for you. So now I'm going to take what you shoved at them energetically and I'm going to accept that. So anything you directed to them, I just pulled in my direction and they're going to have to go through me first. And you and I are a lot of good luck. Good luck getting through me to get to them, Danny. Now, Veronica, I wanted to talk to you about that. When I was listening to Rocko, he relapsed is what I understand. So while I was going to go do this documentary with him, he was already drinking alcohol, apparently, because he said for a month. Now, this is a few weeks ago, so maybe it was after that he started. I don't know. But that would have been a scary situation for me to be in with somebody that's a narcissist and and on whatever pills, and then not crack. He's not a pedophile. He's nothing bad like that. He's just got a bad motherfucking attitude, apparently. Like his last name, it's just foul. It's all in the name. It's like he's like the embodiment of foul.
He his heart turned, he used to have a heart and now it's not there. And
no, but I think he's fighting for it now.
Let's see if I can.
Oh, nice. I think he's fighting for his heart right now. And I want to encourage him to do that. That's why I pointed up, how can I possibly be on your side when I'm a lone wolf out here? I can't support the person they kicked out. Hey, Celeste.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
So Veronica, good. Do you think it was Danny? Because I sensed it was Danny, his altar coming out of him. I could hear it in his videos. Or do you think it was alcohol and that was all him?
Alcohol. The alcohol parasite that is attached to Rocko when he drinks is pretty bad.
Does it bring out his altar? Was that him or was that? Because these boys are accurate. They're saying you showed your true colors.
Well,
sobriety hides who you are. But when you're drinking, that monster behind you, it comes out. And so they're like, we see who you really are.
Yeah, Rocko shows his true colors, like in Spanish, se le ve el cobre, you can see the copper. So he just uses alcohol so that he can be a little more brave and then blame more things on people. But yeah, that's Rocko. And then he also has the altars that come up that are stuck to the alcoholic parasites, the marijuana.
Okay, because he was in the camera going, what I really like is to take a hammer with the claw and I want to hit it in the back of your head and see the blood go everywhere. And I was like, that is fucking Danny. That's not Rocko. That's not who we talk to. That's not who I feel a brother. I said, that motherfucker sounds like Danny.
Yeah.
Who I hear about, so.
I know we all have altars, but with Rocko, he actually eggs on Danny, his other altar, okay?
He does.
He does not, okay, like some people like Penny Bradley will say, oh, well, my altar did it. So that way she can blame the altar. But you know what? Me, I know when my altars, I know when my Sheila, the She-Hulk is coming out, and I take responsibility. I don't know if you can see it, but.
Closer.
A
little closer.
Oh my gosh, it's one.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, you know what I'm saying. It's one of my my She-Hulk Marvel stuff, but it didn't come out. But anyway,
I see it. I can see it. Oh wow.
Oh wow. My altars are coming, and even my family, I tell them, hey, I can't talk about this, or I gotta go, or I separate my Veronica self from the altar and say, okay, or take my altar with me, and we're gonna go talk away from my, whatever situation I'm at. I take full responsibility and I work on whatever freaking culpability my altar has that day that is trying to incorporate to my daily life. It's like, no, I'm going to take action here. I'm not going to let my altars ruin or rule my life or my heart. And what Rocko and these people do is they let these parasites go into their heart space and explode their hearts or invade their heart, kind of like the movie. And then the other side is they give their heart away, like the movie Dark Shadows. At the end, the girl with the crystal, she takes her crystal heart out and she gives it to Johnny Depp and said, I'm giving you my heart. Why the fuck do you want to give your heart away? No, that's you. You got to take care of yourself. You got to own up to your shit, man. You can't be blaming others. You can't be giving your heart away. I'm sorry. This life is hard. Why do you think some of us try to take our lives out? Because we don't want to be here. But you know what? We're here. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in coming back after being dead. And there's no shame. A lot of people have tried to shame me because, oh, you pulled the trigger, Veronica. You didn't want to live anymore. Well, guess what, motherfucker? I'm here now. Face me.
You shot yourself in the heart. So let's go ahead and just say it. You shot yourself in the heart. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Trying to kill yourself. Yeah. And so now, Veronica, as somebody with suicidal, we've all had, so do you use that? Do you say, I'm going to kill myself? Oh, everybody hates me. I'm going to kill. That's a narcissistic thing that people do. You'd never use that, right? That's personal.
No.
That's something we fight and don't want anyone to know.
It's also part of the Omega project that they will have these MK Ultra, the people around you, so that you can
Omega
feel
programming.
Like you have no choice but to do that. But that is a fucking lie. But because you believe them, because of the trauma, maybe you're with a narcissistic partner, or a mother, a father, and you've been brought down to that point where you're like, fuck it, then nobody loves me. Fuck it.
Yeah, but what I'm asking, Veronica, is in that time you would talk about maybe you would talk or say science, but did you ever say, oh, you guys made me upset, I'm gonna go kill myself because of this?
No,
you would never use that, correct? No. As somebody who actually shot themselves in the heart. I mean, like,
I was just sad.
Real deal. I don't either. But the narcissist would. He would say, oh, I'm going to kill myself. Oh, nobody likes me. I'm going to kill myself. And that's what Rocko, that's his default.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him out on that shit, like.
You want to say something?
Let's hear Celeste. Hey, Celeste, thank you for hopping on. It's good to see you.
Thank you. I know I missed you guys. I'm driving right now. I'm
I'll be back, guys. Gotta go take a little break, but go ahead and talk. We're still recording. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, because I was telling Veronica I wanted to talk with you because I too was having problems with Rocko. Like that's why I got rid of Instagram. He was really one of the main reasons why, because I don't want him trying to hit me up, and because he would like call me and shit, and you would want to talk for hours, and it was just always about him and just talking shit and just being negative, and I'm just like, dude, like it would just get so draining, and by the end I would just feel so damn drained. I'm just like, fuck, man. Felt like I was talking to like a over sensitive high school girl or some shit.
Yes, and I had that conversation a lot with him too at work. I'd have to hear it, and I'd be at work doing multitasking. I mean, baking, frying, wrapping, doing this, and I'd be having a conversation. I'm like, man, he just does not understand. People that don't work don't get it. They don't get it. But I loved it because
it's all about him,
Yeah, part of it was I'm always drawn to narcissists anyways, because they're so about themselves and in love with themselves, and they're fun when they're really in the element, but it's when they get all weird. So he would start rapping and stuff. I'm not complaining about our conversations. I enjoyed them because I was like, this is entertaining. This guy's just, I'm a 50-year-old man. I'm not somebody that's going to be affected by this. I'm just saying, like, I can take it, but I took it because I needed to get his story, and we were talking every day, and I'm going to do a documentary on him. So yes, as a 50-year-old man, I'm going to entertain this because I have to connect with them every single day, get to know him, get inside his head and all that kind of stuff, and get prepared for this, so that's why I was doing it. Yeah.
You had a reason, but for me, it was just like, dude, like I have things I have to do, or I just, I don't want to be drained by all that. Like, maybe I don't want to hear it right now. Like, I'm just like, I've already been hearing it for the last few hours, and then you'd get off the phone, and then the next day he's just like wanting to talk about the same shit again, dude. And it's just like, oh my gosh, man.
There's a video of him online, even going into the public, and he's got a trigger, it shows one of his triggers. Like, he's deeply damaged, because like he'll go into the public, and like they wanted him to donate something, and then get something to donate it to the school, like buy a toy to donate to the school. They weren't asking for money. They were asking him to buy something to give to the school, throw it in the box or whatever. And it was a trigger for him because, he says that stuff doesn't go to kids. You guys are just, and all that. And he had to give the people in the poor grocery store, this poor old lady, and man, fucking hell forever. And then he goes out and starts talking to a lady in the street and tells her his whole life story. This is the story he tells to everybody all the time. This is what you're saying, even to the public, that's a trauma person that hasn't healed and it's looping. I feel like it's getting ready to break because he's at that 36-year-old age where he's moving into his next era. And I want to encourage that, but you can't apologize and come back into my life tomorrow and say, hey, let's do the documentary. No, let's give it a year. Heal. Think about it. Give it a couple of years.
Like, did Veronica tell you when he was like flipping out because she had turned off her phone? Because you know how she does that. She turns off her phone so she can sleep or whatever, just not have to deal with shit. And, he was trying to get a hold of her, and he just like flew off the handle, and he was like, fuck her, she's fake. And I'm like, dude, she turns off her phone because, she can't sleep at night. So maybe she's sleeping right now, or maybe she's with family. Like, she has a life. No, fuck that. She wanted to do this show. What was it called? The Code Breaker or Shocker or some shit like that. Remember? They were going to do something
Yeah,
together.
I remember it. Yeah, I remember it. We talked about that a little bit. And what's funny, Celeste, is that this family that we're also talking right now, we're doing a video. I'm not really trying to, I just want the family to hear me so they don't feel like, because they got this weirdo in their world that what appears to be a crackhead, and maybe even pedophile that just threatened to pull up on a 13-year-old. You can't, you understand car and road rage, but when you're in your apartment and on social media, it's kind of the same little security, and you can, and then you realize it's a 13-year-old you're talking to, not the screen. But they accused him of doing the same thing. They just like, man, this guy, he says, he was on my friend's live and said some shit and then apologized afterwards. And then he says, I went to bed. He says, the live was done. I went to bed. And he says, I woke up to 40 messages of this guy saying, oh, you're going to get the worst of me. You haven't seen any. Oh, wait till now you're asking, and it's just message after message. And that's what they've all said. It's like 40 messages in 20 minutes. That's not normal behavior. No, that's living in your head. That's one of you people on social media, as he called me, not you, but I'm just referring that back to him. What were you saying?
Yeah. No, because he was saying same shit to me too. Like, he was just like, you all are fake. And he's like, I just laugh at you guys because you really believe you're in the SSP and shit like that. And I'm just like, damn, dude, this guy, he just can't be like, oh, okay, busy. If I don't hear from her today, I'll hear from her tomorrow. Like, got to drop everything for him right now. If you don't answer the phone, he's like talking shit and he's leaving all these nasty messages and just being a child. Just worse than a child, man. And it's just like, ugh. Yeah, so after that, I'm like, I gotta cut this dude out. Like, so
part of that bit him in the ass with me too. Part of them bit him because he was telling me in the very beginning. I'd like to remind him, because this was a game he played. Trust me, I read everything everybody does. I'm aware of it as they're doing it. I just pretend not to, right? And that's why I said I rode the wave, and I know how to. So it's like, it doesn't affect me. I'm not as sensitive to criticism and flattery and shit like that. So anyways,
I didn't take it personal because I knew that's how he was. And I'm just like, I was just more annoyed. I was just like, bro, chill, like, just relax.
I was referring to him that he's sensitive. He's susceptible to flattery and criticism. But one of the things he did to me too was, he wanted me to do a live with them one night, and I'm like, I'm just trying to get my platform together. I said, it's been a year, and I said, now I figured out I got to spend like $250 over in WordPress because I bought specialized templates and they require a higher program. I finally figured it out. Now I can get hopefully my platform up and going. And if I work through a little bit of this depression, I'll get myself online and I'll be motivated. I'll just force myself to do it anyways. But the thing is like, he wanted me to be online with them and do a live that night. And I'm like, I don't have a Zoom. I'm like, how would we record? I said, I've been through this before when I was trying to do a hypnosis thing, a hypnotherapy, regression thing with somebody. And,
with me,
and it was really complicated. So I said, okay, fine.
Because Vicky got mad because you were wearing a shirt that had a hole, and then they couldn't see me on my regression. And that started the whole thing. We were really good friends. And then just because, I was like, you and I had already agreed.
That was Vicky, yeah. That's the other thing with that.
What happens to people that a parasite gets into them? They're your best friends. They even
Vicky
came to see me. And then all of a sudden something happens. That is a switch. And then they
So I'm going to talk to that too, because she had a 15-year-old child she was her child. I mean, she's one brain cell from putting them both in a bunker down below, right? I mean, she's basically on full defense of everything that's could be happening. So she's looking for the spring and the water and the land, and and she's all militant about it, which is great. It could be happening, but whatever. So, anyways, her son gets on there and did some really cruel things to you. Okay, what was your response to him, Veronica? You said nothing. It's a 15-year-old. You took the higher road. This is what Rocko did when a 13-year-old criticized him. It caused this whole thing. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference between an adult with a heart that's open and loves and has empathy and someone who's a narcissist. This thing bit him in the ass when he wanted me to do the live that night because I had to join Zoom, and it's free for like 30 days. And then it's $150 for the year. So I went ahead and signed up, got it, and we were going to do the live and everything. And then he fell asleep and didn't want to do it. He was just testing me to see if I was going to be able to pop online and do it. And I'm like, well, got my hair done, I'm standing here now, ready to go. And I'm texting him like, okay, ready to go. And then he was asleep, or he just said he slept, but he, whatever. He
Probably
was playing
drugs,
me.
dude. Probably did
Something
probably
like
did a bunch
that,
of drugs.
Well, they're accusing him of crack and stuff, and I don't think that's the case. I think it's, his mental issues, whatever those are, from the trauma, and also marijuana, because he's always high, and that does if you're consistent with it and as heavy as
Yeah.
you are on it, it does affect your mind that way. And plus, it's the medication he's on, psychiatric. So, but listen to this. I'm flying into his hometown to land. And I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, I couldn't get this car. Like, it wouldn't let me just rent the car. I'm like, I have the money. I want to rent the damn car so I can go there and it's all secure and I don't have to worry about it. Because what if something comes out of my account? That's what you're thinking. And I can't take the money out and hold the cash because then how am I going to, it's an automatic deposit for my check that goes into that credit card. It's online. I can't just run to an ATM or a bank and put money in it and have it go there. So I'm like, I have to keep it in the account. And I didn't want anything to happen. I'm like, okay, I paid my rent. I paid my bill. I said, nothing else is going to come through. As I'm landing into his city, that Zoom 30 days later, $150 comes off my card. And I'm sitting here like, you are fucking kidding me right now. So I'm telling him, I'm like, okay, I already thought this through. What if they take money through? I said, okay, what I'm going to do is rent the car for less days. And then when I get paid on Wednesday, I'll go rent it for 2 more days. So I had that worked out in my head already. That bit him in the ass. He tried to play that game with me too and rush things and get things going. And then he backs out, so it's just a game that's played. We were talking earlier that he will go into a room. I don't know if you've noticed, Celeste, but he likes to create chaos and then order out of it so that he's the one in control.
Yeah, dude, that's what I noticed also about him. And I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with somebody like that. Like, you're good and then you're causing shit. Then you're trying to be the hero and then you're being the villain. And then you're the hero and it's like, choose one.
And what happened to you in your last lifetime or in another behind the scenes, whatever they do there, when we're sleeping or whatever, isn't who you are here in the 3D. So I think a lot of people think like, oh, I'm this amazing person because I got no, they're amazing. You're motherfuckers like in your apartment and not leaving. And I don't want to bash him on that, because I don't want to be too hard. To me, anybody that stays in their apartment lot and is trauma based, there's 2 things I'm hearing here. One is agoraphobic. That's where you're afraid to go outside, I believe. And 100% of the time, that's sugar sensitivity. As a doctor, you can't talk about that stuff, but 100% of the time, allegedly, that's sugar spikes going up and down. They 100% of the time, not 100% of the time that people have sugar spikes do they get agoraphobia, but 100% of the time people with agoraphobia have the sugar spike. So they go out and their sugar level drops and they get this paranoia feeling and they think it's because they're driving and something's going to attack them, or they're in the mall and their blood sugar, and eventually they just get scared of everything and end up in their home. And he's kind of going down that route, I noticed a little bit. And I think he's getting ready to break out, and hopefully he spends a couple of years getting himself together and he can remerge, a new person, because he does have that likable person in him that we all want to, that's entertaining.
We need the sun codes. That's why, now in my new place, I make sure and I take Lola for her walks, as I can.
Yeah, you do.
Because without the sun and our sun, our DNA,
Yeah.
you know, gets a little too
You're
much.
getting artificially programmed by the light in the screen,
Right,
instead of by
exactly.
the
We have
natural
LED
thing, or
lights,
portal, whatever that is.
the fluorescent lights, the LED lights. The LED lights are the worst because they're perpetually having your eyes flicker inside the little,
Okay.
they keep them open, the pupil. It's like constantly being being attacked pretty much. And then your screen on your TV, your screen on your phone. So then you can't go to sleep because you're constantly
Yeah.
getting what is
Even
it?
these lights got blink patterns to
Yeah.
them that allegedly, these
Right, you need
LEDs.
the serotonin in your mind. So how are you going to get the serotonin in your brain if you don't go outside?
And if you're smoking it away all the time,
And if
isn't
you're
that what's
smoking,
happening? Is you're
right,
releasing and depleting it, or whatever.
what
Yeah.
are you ingesting? What are you watching? The memes, what TV
Yeah.
programs you listen to, the music, the lyrics. But yeah.
And if you're not working a job, I mean, let's face it, I don't like what I do, but it is making me into a better person. It's hard ass work and it's
Gets you out of the
abuse and it's
house.
kicking my ass, but man, it's chipped off some things from me. It's for it. I grew from it. I learned from it. That sort of thing. There's two things. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I got to verify. I gotta say, because they're really going hard on about the alien thing in his past. Because what he's doing now is he's like, okay, I came into your party and I took a big old shit in the middle of your floor, and then now I want to sit here and talk about nice things. Let's talk about all the wonderful things in the world. Let's have a real conversation. That's the chaos and creating order thing. Okay, I know I messed up and I'm so sorry, but now let's talk about what you should have done that from the beginning, because that's what we all want to talk about.
That's
We
what
want to have that high level conversation, but you can't have that high level intellectual conversation when you showed your true colors.
I actually
Calling someone a fucking bitch and wanting to take her by the back of the hair and shove her face in the water until she's dead and stops breathing. It's like, oh, what did you say to a 13-year-old? And oh, it was horrible. I mean, you should see some of the shit he said. Go to Little Me. He's recorded all the lives of Rocko. Little LIL space ME at little not little me
yeah, we're
on
gonna
YouTube. Little me, yeah. And then there's the little family, and there's little mom, and then it's like then there's little Payday, who's the 13-year-old, and I think that's adorable because that's Payday. I don't know. He's probably going to be the little money maker there. That one. And so it's neat to see this independent artist and then form a family around them that will protect them. But they got to protect them, unfortunately, from people like Rocko on social media. It's got that road rage almost, that can come out of them. And so the thing is I don't really feel like I know you said he has a gun. I know you said he stole a school bus for. And so there is a danger element there, but I'm hoping that was in the past, of course, when he was on drugs and going through things, I think. And now he's shifted and got himself a little clearer. And I'm hoping he shifts again. I don't want to paint that as his picture because of what happened in the past. Okay, fine. You stole a school. You can talk about this online. They got all his case numbers anyways, and they're doing all the research. But I want to just say this doesn't mean shit. Okay. I just want to say on his behalf, my first conversation with Rocko, I was visited that night. I know he's legit. He ain't talking about just crap about the super soldier. Yeah, I got visited by Junior. I'm pretty sure that entity. I was in a house that was wooden and it was old and it looked like back in the 40s or something, like an old house. And the windows were all, no furniture in there. And there was a wooden door with a handle, and I was trying to open and I reached and I grabbed the handle in my dream. Or it's not a dream because you're in between. You're not coming from sleep to wake. So you're not coming out of it. You're coming from wake into sleep. And then all of a sudden you're just in another place. We all know what I'm talking about, right? And that door was trying to open like this on me. And I was like, I never back down. It's the Sigmata in me. I don't know fear. So I said, motherfucker, if you want to come in, fucking come in. I let the door swing open and I went out on the porch because it was like a big long deck that went around or whatever and a covering over the top. And I went out there to swing and there was nothing there. And that nothing there picked me up and spun me. I could feel it. Like I could feel the weightlessness and everything. spun me around 360, and that's when I snapped out. First day I had a conversation with Rocko, right? Then a week later, I'm having a conversation with him about things, and I hear a high-pitched ringing in my ear, and my head went clear. I'm sorry, crystal clear. That was yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I know that's a trigger for, what is it called? That was pretty bad. Okay, I went crystal clear though. My mind went like there wasn't a past, a future, a thought, a problem. People know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to claim this. I'm Ryan Upchurch would know what I'm talking about. I'm sure this guy that he's attacking that we'll talk about in a minute. There was something else in my room from a higher dimension that came to visit and check in on the situation, is what I'm thinking. I didn't see it, but I could hear the high pitch ringing and everything I could feel I was in a different atmosphere, even though I was in my living room. It was just crystal clear completely around me. What that was, I don't know. Was it an angel coming down? Was it something from a higher dimension, in these communities that, that what goes on behind our scenes coming down to check in on it? He claimed it was him. But that's not the way I took it. Something was checking in on me, and it was because of the conversation I was having with him. Was it one of his, because that entity visited me, or was it one of mine just checking in to monitor the situation? I don't know. But I can verify that he's legit there. I don't get the impression he's making any of that crap up. And that's the unfortunate thing, is he's really got a great story there, and he's really got a great past, but the damage it did to him right now, what can we do as a community? I mean, Celeste, do you feel like you can take him in, even with his obnoxiousness, after he's assaulted verbally or threatened to assault a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old, and assault and told women that he was going to grab him by the back of the hair and drown the bitch in the water until she stopped fucking breathing and leave her dead on the shore? I mean, that sounds to me like a man with a power problem against women, because what I'm seeing is a little man with a narcissistic, complex that's now can't go hang out with big men, that's actually successful in a career and actually out there working and striving. So he's got to go into rooms with 13-year-olds, not because he's a pedophile. I'm not going to accuse anything like that. I mean, the man has children, and he seems like a decent enough father to them, as far as I can tell, for now. Luckily, the mom's raising them. And
but you're talking about like his mental, like his image, like his maturity level is right there, like 13, 15-year-olds, he can only
because he can be the big man there. He can be the aggressor. He's aggressor. He likes to be aggressive with people and put them in their place, big fish in a small pond, but he's never accomplished anything. He doesn't have an education, highly intelligent, no education, dangerous combination, very dangerous, most dangerous combination I've heard that is, because then you live inside your head and you're just figuring everything out in your own little world, with no.
Right. You're just making shit up though.
Also, basically.
Because it almost sounds like my brother, because he's kind of like that too, man. Like he's very isolated. He just stays in his room. He doesn't work. He's not even trying to get a job. Like we don't really see him.
So now listen to this. There's this group. Okay, now he went into a room with 13-year-olds, but they have a whole family around them that protect him because they're independent artists that are up and coming. So they got a community that will hop on any kind of person that's trying to threaten them, because they see this. Adults that can't make it are going there and trying to get good with them because they're kids. A regular adult would say, go do it. Dude, go take your training wheels off. Mine are off. I'm not going to push your bike for you. But now this community came at him so hard. So he came in, gave him his all for a week. That's what I saw. He threatened lawyers, lies, right? Because he does this every single time. And now he's not talking to any lawyers. So what? You paid all this money to talk to lawyers, and now you're not talking to him? He said his uncles were coming. He said he was going to do Wicca on him. Fucking send that shit my way. I'll take all that. I'll take that front. I'm telling you, don't send it to that family. I want all that stuff going to that family. Come through me. I'll take that. I'll take all of that, demons. Send it, anything he had, my way. I'm handling.
We can transmute that
on that level.
Obviously,
that's what I mean. I can handle it. That's so his Wicca and all that kind of stuff, whatever he's threatening to do to them. But the thing is they hit him so hard that he had to back away. And now and now even the people that were against this group and attacking it were like, holy shit, man, we're crazy, but that fucker's even crazier. So they were commenting, and so he misunderstood it too. Another misunderstanding, and he just went global. He says, now I'm not after Tweak Swap, motherfucker. I'm after you, Carl. Because Carl's this one tiny little individual that has no supporting. So again, he can be the aggressor. He's in that 13-year-old room with 13-year-olds. But when he had the adults on his ass, say, motherfucker, we're real deal. We're real deal.
Yeah.
He got scared.
Little. His mind is stuck like at a 9-year-old.
It is. And that's for a reason. And we know that. Like, I mean, because he has full upstairs tantrums. Full upstairs tantrum is infant.
Right.
He got traumatized in infancy.
Right.
He has full-blown upstairs tantrums, and you can't reason with somebody when they're in that. And it was like a weak rage because of the alcohol.
No. And I don't see him getting any better unless he chooses to institutionalize himself, or if he doesn't institutionalize himself, he needs to go through some hardcore programs, like things like
military type style.
Military, yes.
Something that's going to break him down and allow him to build back up, you know, and that's not going to be comfortable.
No.
You know, my job's doing it.
Yeah.
To me, that's what's healing me through all, you know, and whatever else I go through in life. Because I'm telling you, I'm demonically attacked. I get shit on every 3 minutes. It's just.
Well, same thing. I'm always having to deal with the voices. You know, we're gonna do this to you.
Because I get songs and I get creativity, so we get attacked by darkness 24/7, just like you, buddy.
It never ends, and that's why it's hard for us to be here on Earth, because it never ends. But we're doing it, right? We're gonna keep going, and we're gonna support each other, like we talked about earlier. So
yeah, I agree.
We wanted to support Rocko, but unfortunately we can't.
How can you? How can we now?
No,
that's what I'm asking. That's what I want him to hear. How can I?
We can't.
I enjoyed him as a friend. As a 50-year-old man, yeah, you can be as cruel and mean and nasty as you want. I don't care. But when I hear you talking about women this way and Veronica this way, like the men of the community step in and say, motherfucker, you know, you cannot do that. We police, we're a whole, and you're a cancer in here, beating your wife, raping these people, or threatening these kids. Either way, it's man to have, you know, so how can we? When the community,
he is a cancer, so if he's not gonna get help, then he's gonna be getting taken out.
Yeah. So what do you see in Rocko though that's positive, that maybe hope? I mean, do you see him? Do you think? I think, like you said, there is that checking yourself into some place that can work on you with this. Say, look, I got an issue, I got a problem, and I need to get beyond it. I know they do it with problem teens, but what about adults? You know,
yeah, he has anger and jealousy problems.
Yeah.
Because of the abandonment issues with his parents, and because they killed his father in front of him, he has anger and abandonment, and he has a hard time loving himself, because I went through that when my dad took his life. It's like, how can I love myself if my own father took his life to not be with me? And for years and years and years, I had that. And now that, you know, I've broken through some of those programs with, you know, I already said thank you to the people that helped me. I'm not going to say it again. But it takes that bigger person. It takes the bigger you to face that and say, yeah, I was wrong in this and I was wrong in that. I was blaming this person. And now you face yourself, you face off, pretty much take off the mask and face yourself in the mirror and face those demons, those parasites, and find out what is my culpability and all this, like we talked about before, and try and find out how to take care more of yourself, inner self.
Okay, so when he takes his mask off, you don't know what identity's there. That's not, he can't sit there and say,
There's
I'm Mr. Fowler. Because that's what I was getting for a while. Like when he thought he was going to be a rapper and was going to like bash the whole community and crush you and crush every single person in the community with his rapping. His first album was all going to be about hate rap against the SSP community because he's wounded. He wants to hurt back, you know?
Yeah.
So he was Mr. Fowler all of a sudden on the phone with me. So when they call me and they say Mr. Fowler, you know, he's that grandiosity, that higher, that narcissist. He was seeing him. I was like, oh dear God. I said, fame is going to ruin this guy. I said, he needs to go through what you're saying, you know, a breakdown to be built back up and stuff like that.
Remember,
Hi,
there's a
Celeste.
saying. There's a saying that I always think about with people.
But I
Like,
want to say real quick, when you take the mask off, you don't know who you are. You got to ask, who am I? And not know, and go through this exploration. And it is scary.
Yeah, I went through.
It's fearful, and it takes bravery. And that's how you grow and become a man,
And Celeste, you went
woman.
through too, right, Mama?
Say it again.
Who am I? So what I always say is, who am I in the dark has to be the same person as who am I in the light.
Yep.
That's why they said he showed his true colors. Like, you can't flip.
Right.
I've never
Yeah.
seen Veronica flip. I've never seen her say a nasty thing against that 15-year-old that said some nasty things to her. I never seen her say anything. I've seen all her back messages too, because you send them to me. Like, when something happens, you'll send me like the receipts, and I see how you are with them. It's the same way you are right now. You don't get a different Veronica.
You gotta go with your heart, man. You gotta. See, the thing with me is I love, and it hurts when I have to cut people off. But somebody taught me, you gotta have your boundaries, Veronica. You gotta have your two swords always ready. Because the way you love, girl, it's deep. And when they come at you with hate and demonic, all that shit, I just go chop, chop, and go within myself again and love myself again and say, you know what? We gotta keep going. We gotta keep going, and let's check what your culpabilities were, Veronica. Maybe you let your guard down too much. You know, my superpower is love, and I will always love unconditionally. But there has to be those boundaries to protect my heart. You got to protect your guys' heart. You know, Rocko has not protected his heart. He has let it come to disaster. It's dark. There's no blood flowing of love in there. It's only any
It's like a heart of stone.
I say, huh?
It's like a heart of stone. It's just hard.
Yeah, my sister did some research into him too. Now, like, I haven't dated in over 10 years, we know that, but I do have exes, and not a single one of them have a bad thing to say about me. I don't have a bad thing to say about them, no matter what. My sister went online. There's not a single one of his exes. She says, I'm going through his exes. I'm gonna see what the women had to say about him in his past. There ain't a single one saying something nice. Not a single one.
Yeah, he's just too damaged.
So what about this heart of stone you were saying, Celeste?
Oh yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, right now his heart's just it's hardened, you know, it's just a heart of stone. He just doesn't want to let the love in. He just doesn't want to hear any ugly things about
his
himself.
Kids are permeating it though. I think his kids are getting in there though. And I'm hoping that shifts him into his next era, because he's really kind of becoming daddy focused right now. And maybe he'll come offline and do that. That would be nice. Go get the help
I think that's
he
what he
needs.
needs to do. He just needs to cut
Yeah.
the world off right now and just focus on his family, and then it'll help focus on himself, because once he sees that, you know, that external, you know, he's got these, you know, these little people that are, you know, depending on him. Of course, you know, they don't know how to fend for themselves. He's got to be the one, you know, like, if you want to be a hero for those kids, and then you'll be a hero for yourself once you know, you're like, fuck, you know, yeah, I ain't got time for the bullshit.
But he wanted to be a hero before this. He was like researching where kids are that were kidnapped and wanting to break in the doors and kick everybody's ass that was in there and threat. You know, it's like, you just want to fight, man. You just want to fight. Like,
that was cool what he did.
But I don't want him to take off the mask and say, I'm a hero. No, you don't know who you are. If you want to be a hero, like Celeste is saying, you got to go get broken down, like Veronica was saying.
Well, yeah, but
and go through the work, or go join the workforce, because the public's going to break it out of you. Move to New York.
Yes.
Manhattan will pull those fucking things right off of you. They don't allow this bullshit in that city, you know.
Once you take off the mask, there's other masks you got to take off. because you are trying to guard yourself so much. You got so many masks on. You're like, well, who the fuck am I? You're trying to be whoever. Okay, you wear a mask when you're with your boyfriend. You wear a mask when you're with your mom. You wear a mask when you're at work. You wear a mask when, you know what I'm saying? It's like, take all the motherfuckers' masks off, man, until you get to the center core and find out who you are. And you know what? Sometimes you are ugly. And you find out you're fucking ugly. And then you
Okay,
gotta
good.
work on that ugly. Because there's more ugly behind that. there's so many layers, right? Of masks. Sorry, didn't mean to go on a tangent, but I did.
Yeah. Amen, sister. Well, I won't say that. I keep saying all these freaking code words all over the place, aren't I?
I always look at that movie 28 Days. I recommend that highly because when I'm going down on myself, like I'm getting down on myself and it's like, why am I sad? Or why am I, am I am I doing the right thing again for myself? Look at that movie 28 Days. Sandra Bullock, she goes into that, she was on cocaine and
Okay, it's not that zombie movie. I was sure.
no,
Oh,
no.
28 days later.
Okay.
Yeah, she's on
Sandra
cocaine.
Bullock.
She's also on alcohol, right? And she's addicted to sex.
They typecast it.
You just got to watch it because at the end they give you some tips, and that's when you know when you're kind of ready for society.
That sounds interesting. Yeah. Okay.
And when you see yourself, coming down on yourself again, it's like, well, what am I doing wrong? That movie kind of tries to help to focus, because they also talk about the narcissist because she ruined her sister's wedding. She fell on her cake. Why? Because she was drunk off her ass, making fun of everybody with her boyfriend. She was, it's a story and a half. I mean, that story happens to a lot of people. So
Yeah.
anyway, anything else you want to say before we end this?
I do feel like we got everything out. I just wanted that other community needs to hear from the communities that have dealt with him before, just so they get a little bit of I mean, I ain't gonna say for them to stop picking on him or doing anything like this. This man needs to get hit as hard as he can get hit for as long as he can get hit until he decides he's legitimately gonna change. Because we either need him out of the community and offline or be healing.
Yeah.
But we don't care to hear about intellectual talk from you about funny and friendly things like you're wanting right now after we saw your true colors. Everybody saw it.
I think he's a big part for this community. It's just shitty that he's just so damaged that it's just hard to get it word in first when you're trying to talk with him, because he's going like 1,000 miles an hour. And you're just like, dude, just can I say something really quick? And it's just he just wants to talk. And then when you say something, it's just like, he's like, no, you're wrong. Yeah. He's his own worst enemy.
Yeah,
like,
he does. Yeah. And he digs his own holes, and we watch him do it.
Yeah, like he just flies off the handle like right away. It's just like, dude, like get your facts first before you start making assumptions and start calling people snakes or or just saying that everyone's fake. And it's like, dude, we do want to talk to you. Right. We do want to associate. I would still like to associate with him, but it's just like he's just too much though. He's too much, and it's like, dude, okay, I gotta separate myself from you because now I'm starting to feel crazy. It's like his crazy rubs off on you, and I don't want to call him crazy, but it's just what they did to him. Like they made him a crazy person. And it's not his fault what happened to him.
Celeste, what you did was really brave.
You're right. Thank you, Celeste. Yeah, because you I mean, that's a very kind assessment of him. Yeah, he was. Yeah. But my thing is too, Celeste, and this is what I'm having an issue, as I've said before, is you can't be a person that was raped your whole life and then grow up and then rape somebody and expect them to do a lifetime story on you. Because you had a traumatic upbringing, because now you're the predator. You can't be talking about 13 and 15-year-olds in the way you're talking when you want a lifetime story on your 13 and 15-year-old time. It's just like, we want you in the community, but how can,
especially if you're attacking kids, man. It's just like, that just shows that, he's just too damaged right now. And women too. It's just like, he's just too damaged. And so of course, because of that, then he just, like I said, he just flies off the handle, and then everyone's like, he's just crazy, he's not credible. And it's like, it's not that, it's just,
No.
he just lets the damage take control. Whatever demons are in there, he just lets them take over, you know, instead of him battling them and trying to get through it. He's like, you know, this isn't about, it is about him, but then it isn't about him, you know, because there are other kids and people that have gone through this, are going through it. And, you know, he's got to be that voice for them, you know, because, you know, I'm sure there's people out there that would like to talk with him too, but when they see, you know, how he is, it's like, do I want to associate with this guy, you know? But he's telling my life story too, but I don't want to, you know, be associated because, you know, everyone says he's crazy and this and that. And it's just like, you know, that's where I was too, man. I'm just like, you know, he's not a bad person. He's not a bad person. It's just, you know, he's just got a lot going on. He just needs
he's a
to
foul-mouthed and really crude and rude person, but not like what you're saying. I think other people have stepped up and talked about that in the community too. Like, I don't think he's a bad father. I don't think he's, you know, pedophile, because they're trying to figure out too, like, why does this dude grow up in New York and then move to Massachusetts
because
or
he burned
Missouri? Yeah, he burned many bridges, and they said, "What is he running from? What is
so
he running from?" But honestly, I mean, it's Montauk is the way I see that. You know, he's getting the hell away from that area, Montauk. You know, that's why he ran from New York to Missouri. I don't know. Maybe he burned bridges in New York. I don't know. It's sad right now too, because they are taking his friends' pictures because they're at war. I would ask that they, the little family, please be respectful of the community over here and not show any not show any of his friends that have committed suicide, because they are super soldiers. They were MK Ultra, and that will piss us off. I mean, there are some, and it's not just going to piss us off. Those people are real fucking deals. The guy has a little mark on his eye, and he's looking up, and he's got a hat, and he says, "Who's this guy?" But he's his buddy or something. And it's his friend that committed suicide that is a super soldier and is as real as Max Spears, right? And just be careful. I mean, I get it. Do what you want to do, but you might piss off somebody that's not even on Rocko's. It has nothing to do with Rocko, you know, if you're showing that kid's face. And these are real deal people that you won't even see coming. I have a feeling, I'm just saying, don't do that. This guy is MK'd you that you're showing, and don't take important people. And so that's just a little, not a warning, but just, you know, just be careful.
James, why do you think James Casbold, aka Michael Prince, got off of this whole super soldier thing? Why do you think I broke ties with the super soldier program with the people?
I don't call myself one either.
I don't want anything to do with them. All they do is hurt you. Okay, so if you want to heal, please disconnect yourself from even social media, because social media is a virus. That is the actual V word, the social media. You know,
it is. And you know what? I don't want these people clowning us either. I'm just going to put this out there for 1 second. Not that they would. I mean, they seem respectful, but my mommy called out the color of cars before they came around the corner. And my mommy had prolific dreams until she took Prozac. And my daddy was an empath, and good luck sneaking up on him. He knows everything going on around him. I'm their kid. You don't think they used me somehow behind? I mean, come on. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't. Okay, fine. I don't have.
They did.
I know. But I mean, just because I'm not claiming SSP, or we're not claiming, you know, doesn't mean that we ain't real deals. You know, we just don't want to be associated with Penny Bradley and the others that, you know.
I'm not going to know Montauk. I think Celeste, you told me that it was James asking people for $6,000 so that you can go to Montauk or some shit. And we're not
$1,000.
Why would we want to go back to Montauk if they used us as kids there? Why would we want to?
They're good because they're going when that
$6,000 for the house, but they wanted $1,000.
Because they're going to be filming, and it's when that ship disappeared, that I forget what the SS something, and it's supposed to reappear every year at the same space, or every anniversary date in the same space out there, and people get off of it and walk off, and they're all going to go there and try and film, and that's why they're charging the money, maybe.
I wouldn't go on.
I wish those people luck. Have fun on Montauk land. We won't be there.
Yeah, I'd be too scared to go.
You
I'd just be like, who
exactly,
knows?
you know,
What if you get abducted or some shit? You know, you
what
just don't
if?
know what could happen. You know, or
I
your
mean, I
organs
would
are
go to
gone.
Montauk because I'm not scared of anything, but I don't know why they would. They're part of the pack. You
I
know, they're
wouldn't
gonna get.
want
They
them
got
taking
each other to back
my
each other up, but
energy.
we'll see what that does.
Yep.
I wouldn't
Yep.
want them taking my energy or my mind or my gifts. Why would I
No,
volunteer to go? I told people in
yeah,
2017, 2018, I think it was, do not volunteer to go on these ships because they will use your battery and you
yeah.
don't know if you're going to come back the same, if they're going to take you.
You got attachments on you like crazy when you go there.
Yeah,
You're gonna
you'll
have
get
to
the
cleanse
Omega
for
program
weeks. That's
for
what
sure
Rocco
if you
does.
haven't gotten it.
Yeah. And he knows Montauk inside and out. I mean, there's no doubt that he's got some kind of connection there. And that's the unfortunate thing, too. Would have loved to have
Yep.
his Montauk story, but, you know, come back in a year or so after you
Right,
discover
healed or something.
yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You need a lot of healing, man. A lot
And
of
you
healing.
love yourself, you know, come back when you love yourself.
I think that too. He's probably gonna have a lot. He has a lot of self-loathing. Like maybe he's somewhat blaming himself that these things happen to him. But it's just like, how can you? If you were just a
He
child,
beats
like how can
himself
you
up
fall?
over it. Yeah. That's
Rocco,
sad.
it was not your fault. It was not our fault what they did to us as babies, and and
But you're not the only one it happened to.
you're not the only one, Rocco. Look at us. We're not over here losing our, it's you gotta center yourself, okay?
Yeah.
We love you as
Like
our
these young
brother.
kids did. I mean, when you guys see these videos, watch how these little 13-year-olds, and I don't want to say little, but you know, they're young adults and they're just starting their journey into this part of it. But
Right-eyed, yeah.
they handled it with such maturity. Oh my
Mm.
gosh, they handled it with maturity. They responded, they did not react. And they called a man out, and that was incredible to see. This youth that's coming up is something else. I'm looking forward to it. They ain't gonna take shit, let me tell you.
Right.
I
The
love it.
and the indigo, what is it? The rainbow indigo kids. Well, we're the crystal children, but anyway, when you said react, what it is
Hey, hold on.
Rocco is stuck in the reactive mind.
Because I don't trust this freaking car.
Okay. So in Scientology, I'm not part of it, but I was when one of my family members took me there, and I didn't clearly. One thing that I did learn was you have to get rid of the reactive mind and go through the process. Each theme or each issue, you have to process things. You have to process things in order to
Would that be a psychiatrist, would you think, or a therapist? No, a psychiatrist just prescribes medication. So that would be a therapist you think he needs? I mean,
a therapist, yeah. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is with everything in life, with every day, you have a process to go through. Okay. And if you're actually using your reactive mind, then you're not going to go through that process. The fastest way to go through a process is to actually take care of yourself. Take the time to go through the process in order to clear your mind. Because what Scientologists want is for you to be clear. And what do? They charge you all this money. Same thing if you go to a psychologist and whatever. You have to do your own processes every day.
yeah. And that's what I was getting.
Yeah.
I was getting nervous with that too, because he didn't know about it. Like when I had the documentary planned in my head, I was like, okay, we're going to start out with scenes of his neighborhood. Just the camera set, and it's just to let the audience know about where they were and the environment. And then it was going to go into his apartment, and we were going to have a conversation with his mom over the phone, accounting for his past and his history, not the Montauk stuff, not what she saw there, but just the foster care system and what she went through with that and trying to get him back and how they fought her and how they abused. It's just like that whole story she was going to get. And then we are going to go around on location and drive around, but I didn't have the car. This was my plan in my head. We're going to go to a school. We're going to go where his father was shot. We're going to go to the community where the crack neighborhood that he got taken out of. And then we were going to have a soft interview, where he got to glorify in his victimhood, whatever, and have his lifetime story, the way he seated in his head. But then I was going to start in on the questions because he hurt you, Veronica. And I told him we were friends. So I had to say, okay, this is energetically, I need to say something on Veronica's behalf. I wasn't going to use your name, but I was going to confront the Dr. Jekyll Mr. Hyde personality, that flipping and flopping, that bipolarness that he's now exhibited. And I'm pretty sure that's where things would have gone. I don't know what would have happened. I mean, we can already see how he reacts when anything happens with videos. He commands they all get pulled down. He's done it with every single person, does videos and then commands that they get pulled down. What would have happened with that documentary when I started asking those hard questions? But that's what he needs to start asking himself, because I wanted to know, what are you doing to heal? This isn't just about your story. We're trying to reach people that have been through this and are in the foster care system, and now they're in your stage as an adult, and they want to hear what you're doing to heal on a daily basis, therapy wise and in your home. Next, you know, and that was going to be one of the questions that I definitely wanted to ask. Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, it's just I'm getting something installed here today, so.
Oh, nice. No. You're just fine. I got the message out that I wanted to say on his documentary and how on his healing process and everything. That was going to be part of it. And now he gets to
He needs to heal
do
his
that.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You know what I mean? Both of them.
Yeah.
There's more than just those two. But yes, Chad, your documentary would have been badass. But your safety comes first.
And I'm sad. My heart was broken because I wanted the story out. I mean, I really did. I wanted his story out and stuff, but
and then you and Veronica was supposed to do that show with him, and then when after he flipped out, you were just like, Veronica was like, yeah, fuck this, you know, that's how it's gonna be.
And I wanted to ask about that too, because he did bring it up. I mean, he said you blocked him and you won't let him have his videos, and that's stealing his videos, and it's his story, and you're getting views off of his story, and you won't even let him have the link to post it on his page.
He has all 3 videos that I sent him.
Okay.
Jesse Bogg.
That was lies, right? Yeah.
Video that we did together with him.
Rocko.
Then Jesse Bogg said the next day that we did the video with Jesse and Rocko that he didn't want nothing to do with him. When he was the one that said, Veronica, you have to do this video with Rocko. And I've been avoiding him for 2 years because Susan said, oh yeah, he's over here trying to say that you're his twin flame. I'm like, I don't got no twin flame. I have my own twin flame. Leave me alone. So for 2 years I was avoiding him because I didn't want this drama. And look at, we're now what, a whole year into this almost, and we're still where we began with Rocko, losing it. And not I get it if you lose it, but change, man, change. Don't be shitting on everybody. You need to change, you know.
Well, you have to make that decision, you know, to want to change.
Yeah. Now you heard Chad, you heard Celeste, you heard Power Lady with, you know, all the freaking texting. What do you want? You want the attention? Here you go. Here's the attention. This is what you get. You need to heal, buddy. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
We're tired of you. We're tired of your bullshit, and we won't take it. And this is why we're making this video. Even Chad tried to go physically and see you, but something happened. There was a reason why he didn't show up. He tried, and here's his story. Celeste got off social media because of you. What more do you want, Rocko? Get your fucking life together. Leave us the fuck alone. You know what it is we try and help you, and then you shit on us, and we're done. We're not gonna do it no more. We're done. We're out.
Right, we got our own shit to have to deal with, our own life and everything, you know. Everyday life throws some sort of shit pie at us, so it's just like we can't just
every day, every 3 minutes.
Yeah.
We are attacked. We are targeted. We are everything you can, claim to be. We get it, but we don't wear it. It's not something we talk about it and all that kind of stuff, but we deal with it and we handle it. We don't have to talk about it with every stranger in the street and every person we come across, you know.
Yeah, I'm just really hoping he finds the peace and the stability he's looking for, because it seems like he tries to find it with everyone else, but it's just like, you know, we all got our own thing going on, and you know, it's almost like, yeah, when we're not paying attention to him, then he reverts to that child altar and he starts, you know, throwing his tantrums, and it's just like, you know, we can't be your mommy and daddy. We can't always just, you know, drop everything and coddle you and tell you everything's all right. You are special and perfect. And it's just like, we're all fucked up. We all have our own shit we have to deal with.
And that's another tactic he used with this family. He's like, how dare you? Don't you know I'm traumatized? Don't you know I have a terrible past? Like, you can't go into someone's party, shit on it, and say, how dare you get upset with me because I was traumatized in my past? You should be empathetic. I apologized to the little mother and she didn't, they should be, do you want, no, you can't go in there and do that and then have them feel sorry for you. They want you to fuck off. Get the hell out of their family and never come around again. That's what they want. They want you to eat crow and just disappear. And that's what you should do graciously.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Respectfully. Because you're a man that demands respect all the time, but you have no honor. You have
and no merit.
I don't want to say you don't, but show us. Like the mama said, words are cheap. Let's see what your actions do. We don't want to hear what you're going to do. We don't want to hear how you change. We want to see it.
Yep. Yeah, like they say, be the change you want to see in the world. So it's like, be that change. You want to save the children, then save yourself first. Because it seems like that's what needs to happen first. He needs to save himself from himself before he can start saving other people, Can't be a broken person trying to save other broken people because you're just breaking each other even more to the point where you can't even put yourselves back together.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
yeah.
Not trying to say nothing bad about him, but it's just like, bro, it's the time is now because it's going to be too late when he finally decides he wants to make that change.
It is. I mean, I'm fighting stuff now that I wish I would have taken care of years ago, but now that I realize, years add up and now I'm 50. And I'm like, man, Chad, you don't got much left. You better change this or it's going to be, your story.
2020
your actions become you.
Or that you change. You're either going to change by exiting out of Mother Earth, or you're going to change by facing your fucking demons and going through and being, and you're going to always be victorious. You know that we are victory. Our inner child yells and screams. We are victorious. We are warriors. We are angel hearts. But if you don't push through, you have one choice. Either take yourself out if they let you, or work through your fucking problems and get out victorious and prove to yourself, you don't have to prove shit to the world. Prove to yourself that you are worthy, right? We're all worthy, and get through the fucking programs. Get through, what do I call this show? Breaking kryptonite, breaking the fucking programs and facing yourself.
That's what I noticed about him.
2023, that's what this year has showed me. People are either going to have a contract to take themselves out or die somehow because they wanted to go do whatever they did, right?
It's like he wants to prove himself so hard, and so when someone criticizes him, it's just, he's not
the only star seed in a human form. Look at all three of us, and there's more. There's 144,000 of us, true warrior star seeds that are here.
And Creek Squad and Little Family is one of them.
Yeah, they are.
Those are independent artists. Those are people that are protecting themselves. Those are people that are doing things that are so amazing in a day and age when, Tom Althouse, like I said again, the man who wrote The Matrix had he had Siri. He's the one that came up with Siri. He's the one that came up with Neuralink. He had different purposes for them in his script. They twisted everything, of course. And put it in like Elysium and all these different movies. He's all over the place. He is the man that wrote all these things that got the visions that they stole it from. And he's worth over $1 billion. Worth over $1 billion. Not even with the intellectual information. But not only that, Tarantino stole all his films too, remember? Kill Bill, those people never got justice. And so did the Avatar people. So we're living in a day and age when we have to protect ourselves, literally. And Tom has had both his sons murdered, and he's had his other son threatened and his life threatened. They tried to run him off the road a week ago before he could get, this documentary out. So it's real deal. And these people are independent artists that made their own money. Now, Ryan Upchurch right now is getting it handed to him by the hand is coming in because there's another family. He made some rude comments about a girl that died, and they didn't know what happened to her, right? not a great thing to do. But at the time, it was like there was another party going on next to this party. They found her truck in the river a couple days later, but he's like, yeah, this is a phony story or whatever, because in the story there was like photoshopping of her in there, and then there's people changing their story. I mean, the whole community was confused by this murder. I mean, this family's a millionaire. We can already read in that there's something suspicious going on. All this confusion around her death, and then she's found in a river, and now that family is going and suing Ryan for saying the things he did and the slander during that time period when he didn't really believe it, you know. And he's getting sued by his mom, and they all dropped these lawsuits around the same time. I listened to the Little Family. I listened to the the backstories to everything they're saying, so I can get to know these independent artists a little bit now that they've been introduced to me. And so he is now an independent artist that made it on his own, and those companies are coming in and sending in the little people to sue him and stuff. That other company tried to sabotage him and break him down and tear his social media away and all that kind of stuff. These are the people we need to support, because the Wren, the Little Family, Creek Squad, whoever's an independent artist that's doing it on their own, you know, we can't be working against them, and we won't.
Yep, exactly.
I want Rocko to hear that, you know.
Like, I know he's got talent. He's very talented.
Yeah.
He's
very creative. He's good with words. They're bashing on him now because of his raps. He did this thing, wang wang, it's a West Coast thing, you know. And it's they said it's the worst thing they ever heard. Or they're just, it's fine. It is what it is. It could have been worked into something. It was interesting, and like the one kid said too, and I appreciate that. He says it's inventive, but it's dumb, you know, or whatever. But he does have a creative side to him, because he would do some freestyle rapping with him, and I'm like, the man can think of words. He doesn't need me to write a story. He can write his own. He just needs the love and encouragement. But the problem is if you give him everything he wants, it's going to go to his head, and he's going to be Mr. Fowler. I am Mr. Fowler. Like, I am, you know, because to me, let me tell you about arrogance. It's that barfly in there that's fucking abusing their kids and out here spending all thear money drinking instead of buying them clothes. That's acting like a and the grandest thing in the whole, that's arrogant, you know. Someone who's poor, trash, fucking on drugs and drinking, and did nothing to be anything, but they act like, you know, they're the cream of the crop, you know. That's arrogance. So watch out for that.
Yep.
Don't let it get to your head. You know, you're a creative person, you do got a future, but be humble about it. That's not going to happen. A narcissist is a narcissist. I'm sorry. I do want to have hope, but we'll see what happens. I've asked Spirit before, can you cure narcissism? I said, I can psychologically break anybody down. I'm a Sigma. I know how everybody thinks and how everybody works. And I got a silver tongue like no other. You know, I'm known for that. I've been called Dexter before. I said, this guy don't have a chance, or none of them do. But they said, what I was told from Spirit was, or from whatever, they have to want it in order for that to happen. So
you have
and
to
I think he does. I think his kids are breaking through. They're two little love missiles that are warming his little heart up, you know. And maybe he'll love himself after time.
Like
right now he's riding off of their love.
You
Yeah,
have
I'm the
to
greatest
want
dad
it,
ever.
but with a pure heart, Chad. You're on that. You have to want it. How bad do you want it, and how pure is your heart?
Okay, there you go. Let's find out.
Remember, Max Spears always talked about it. Our key is our heart space. We have to be of a pure mindset, heart. You know, we can't fake unconditional love. We cannot fake wanting good for others. You see it, you feel it. When you're around a person that loves unconditionally and says, good job, Chad, good job, Sliss, good job, Beto, you actually feel it. You'll feel when somebody is being
genuine and sincere.
Insincere. And that's what we gotta do. It's like, we gotta be a good heart and good cheer. My phone? Oh, okay.
I hear you.
Yeah, even if people aren't, either they're being fake with you or they're being for real, like, you know, hating on you, it's just gotta keep pushing through, man. Just be like, whatever, I'm not gonna be in this world for long anyways. So that's one thing that always keeps me going. It's just like, you know what, I'm not gonna be here forever. You know, I'm gonna be gone soon, so I can't take shit personal.
Wait till you turn 50, Celeste.
Hey,
that comes, it's like, whoa.
that's 9 years from now. Yeah, I got.
Well, it's
Enjoy those 9 years.
more
it
than 50,
took me
so that's-
52 years to not give
No,
a,
that's what.
to not care what people
What-
say.
Right. Too old to bother, but too young to care about shit.
Too wise, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like, man, who cares? I got shit I gotta do. Like, I just, before I leave, I gotta make sure that I've checked off everything that I need to do, and then, all right, going home. I'm not here to please these people. I'm not here to make anyone happy. It's like, I'm here for a mission and then go home. That's it. It's like going to your job. I'm just here to do my job. I'm not here to make friends. I'm just here to go to work, make my money, go home.
Make my bags of money, Celeste.
I do.
Buy all the swords.
Yeah,
I
she's
can
gonna
buy.
get this mission's gonna be completed, and I'm never doing it again.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I
I don't want to be your employee of the month. No, fuck that.
say. Your
Want to
employee.
retire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone's ready to retire. We just want to retire and just live our real life wherever we came from. Like, we just want to be done, because this isn't our fight, man. But we're
Yeah.
all here for a reason. We're all here to help, help others, help fight, help, maybe that's why
Yeah.
Rocko was brought to all of us, to try to help him. But it's just like, he needs to want that help. And it's just like, we're all down to help him, but it's just like, but when you're becoming too much, man, it's just, now we got to like step back and just kind of recharge from all that.
Yes, because like you said, Celeste, he's an energy vampire. And what happens? Oh my gosh, like it took me a few, weeks to just had to
Come
put
back
him in the
yourself.
box.
I just had to be like, and I did feel bad just having to cut him off like that, just abruptly. But it's just like, dude, if you can't
Yeah.
always explain yourself to people, be like, look, that's, that probably could have made things even worse. And it's like, maybe it was the best just to like, just cut him off,
Because he tried to call me this. Yeah, he tried to call me this morning, and I didn't answer the call because I was doing the video. I'm like, I'm not convoluting this day right now. He's not going to hear what I have to say on the phone. I have to say it on the video first. I feel bad about cutting him off too if I need to. We'll see how he responds and reacts to this. Responds or reacts to this.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see what happens. But then we can have our conversation, because I don't dislike the guy. I enjoyed our conversations. I miss them. When he's likable, but isn't every narcissist? They're 5-minute friends.
Yeah.
Me, and another dose of mean. It's cute, and he's rapping and all this stuff. And as long as you got nothing to say about yourself, it's all good.
Yeah, true that. He just wants to be in the limelight, dude. Just clapping for him, on the side of the curb, as he's passing by in his little parade with his tiara on, and it's just like, all right. But hopefully, hopefully he will make that change, because he does have knowledge, and he does, he can help others. He can be that great help that the people need, but he just needs to help himself first. I hope he does. I really hope he does.
Yeah, he needs to evolve again.
He's got that chance. I sense it. I feel it. His kids are working on it. His ex-wife, or whoever has the children from him, seems to be being very patient and just kind of like monitoring things. I don't know what she's, or how much I don't want her to be pulled into this because she's separate, but so he's got that opportunity now. It's all been set up for it. So we'll see what happens.
The ball is the ball is on his court now. So we're done.
I know.
We're
like,
done.
what are you gonna do with it? Are you gonna hold on to it, or are you gonna play the game and win? Or just gonna stand there just.
We're done being his cheerleader. It's our turn to focus on our inner self and our mission. So
yes, thank you. I mean, I wasted all this time with this documentary and listening to him for 2 months, and I have. Hold on, let me grab it real quick so people know. I got my little instrument here with like 8 little notes on it that because I don't know music, but I wanted to compose, and I have this little mallet that's metal, and I can play songs and do composes and stuff on it. But I would come home every single day and practice my music. Every single day, practice this. I'd be on it, and I'd be working on my song. I'd be going over the songs I already had on it, going through the, they're like little musicals or whatever. And then I was like, then I had his calls for 2 months, and then I couldn't do it. And I was like, this is the first time I've been away from my music. I just can't talk to him for 2 hours on the phone, go to bed, wake up, talk to him for 2 hours, go to work, come home. And he'd be asking, is this done? Is this done? Is this done? And I said, when did I have free time? I said, I've either been on the phone with you or at work. Like, then he gave me a little bit of space or whatever, because he got it.
Yeah.
But then I started playing this music, but that was one of his triggers, because he said Prescott used to play classical music in the background. So I'd be on the phone with him after an hour or so, listening to him talk, and how much of yourself of your energy can you give over? That's the energy vampire thing, can you give over to yourself? So I'd sit here and whatever, start playing a song or whatever. That's not, it's not a rubber mallet. I'm hitting it with that metal. That's gross. But, and he says, I know what you're doing. That's the trigger. You're trying to, and I'm like, dude, I ain't fucking Preston. I ain't that guy. I'm sitting here trying to play my music, and while we're talking, I figured I might as well just, sit there. I missed it. I was sitting there playing it. It sounded pretty. I was just listening to him rant and rave, for an hour, 2 hours, whatever, like that. Those are the things we need to pull back in our lives from these narcissists pulling us away from our things. Because my friend, I was writing songs, and I played this song and I did it for 2 months for you. And I gave you up a whole year of work and a week vacation and $1,000 and all this stuff. And all you cared about was your CD of Trey in the mail, and no disrespect to just Trey. Love the guy, I'm just saying, like, so yeah, focus on ourselves. Let's get ourselves going. Let's write our scripts. Let's do our own thing for a little while. I had a song for even like that could go to Ryan. It's called Shotgun, and it's against the elite. The song itself is pretty raw and everything, and I can see him doing it. Not that he would, or one of his people, but like, now you're just shitting all over them. So these are the people that I want to work with one day, potentially. God hasn't put that person in front of me yet, or who, God, whoever, creator, the source, whoever that is to you, has not presented me with that. So I figured, okay, I'll wait for it, but we're all working towards our own things here. We put those on the side for you.
And that's also
now take the ball yourself. It's been given to you. You got the ball. You got your ball, your story.
On his court now, but what I'm also saying is, he has this energy vampire that's stuck to him, and
hold your mic a little closer.
Mad because we're not listening anymore, and this is the last video I'm ever going to do on him, because I'm done, and it is not my responsibility anymore to help him. And I think with that, we should leave it.
I mean, you can only help someone so much till you're finally just like, dude, either you're just helpless or you just got to learn to help yourself, man. Because, I can't be taken away from my own, from my own life just to try to help you, just dropping everything just for you. Your emergencies are not my emergencies, man. Like, I got my own shit.
We can only do so much, as human, because we have our energy too, and we have our own missions that we have to do. So this kind of sounds like a CIA love bite as well. Because even though it's not a sexual thing, it's an energy vampire that's attached to that bite. And the more that vampire bites, the more blood it wants from us. And that's our luge, that's our gold. And I am not going to use any more of my gold or any luge or any of my energy for this person or any other people that are stuck being a baby.
Right.
Yeah, because she said something.
He's already past the milk, the honey, the meat. Okay? We're past the fucking dessert.
And to that, he said in the very beginning when we were talking, and it threw me off a little bit, and it was in one of our conversations, he says, you know what? He says, I'm supposed to destroy you. And I remember thinking on the phone, good luck, motherfucker. See if you can destroy me. Like, I can feel my strength, I'll crush you, little man. That's the way I felt in the moment. But I've always wondered what he meant by that. Like, what do you mean you were supposed to destroy me?
It just sounds like an empty threat, kind of. It's almost like intimidation.
It's
you know?
that energy vamp, like she said, there's some kind of bite on him or some kind of something, but he
Kind
feels
of
like he's on a,
hungry house,
that's what
okay?
Mhm.
He's stuck in that
He knows it.
phantom shit. So I'm not gonna be in that realm. He wants to be in that
No.
dimension. Let him be in the dimension. We don't have to be a participant.
No.
That's
Okay.
some of the opera bullshit.
I mean, we're already dealing with this realm's bullshit. I don't need to deal with another realm's bullshit.
Yeah, we gotta find out when we're gonna eat. And that's right. Some days are like that. What am I gonna eat today?
Yeah.
Do I have enough food today? Do I have enough gas? You know, do I
Yeah,
have enough food for my pets? Like, we're done with this.
I know, man. It's like I got bigger fish to fry, dude. Like I just can't right now with you.
I love you, Chad. I love you, Celeste.
I love you too.
I love
I'm
you
gonna
guys
end this
too.
right now and then we can talk after, okay? Don't hang up. Mwah. Love you.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Put down the links and everything, guys. Thank you everyone for watching.